What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of the Lipstick Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Powell, and alongside me today, we have Amanda Kane.
Hi, guys.
And joining us as another repeat guest, we have repeats here, that's correct, Miss Cher Stewart at Cherlequin on Twitter.
Hi. Good to be back.
Thanks for coming back.
This stuff. Yeah, no, it was fun. I like talking.
You like talking? Join the club.
That's why we're here, right?
Right? I mean, what else are you going to do on a podcast but talk?
True.
It just started pouring outside. I'm sorry, I got to close the window before it gets, hailstorm. I should have done that earlier. My bad. All right, so we don't really have a topic today, but we've got listener questions. So we're going to jump right into them. Our first listener question, if I can find it, is from Elijah at Loco Lizard Man on Twitter, good friend of ours. He wants to know what's the worst road trip experience you've ever had.
Should I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so when I was 19, I lived in Tempe, Arizona for like 6 to 8 months with a bunch of my best friends. And my friend Geneva, her uncle was getting married in Cal Neva at this resort. And so for some reason, we all decided to drive instead of fly. I mean, I guess probably because we were 19 and broke or whatever. So we drove, and we had... This was like so long ago that like GPS wasn't really a thing. So we had like a printout of like the MapQuest directions, and we ended up getting completely and totally lost. And during part of this trip, we like ended up on some dirt gravel road, and it was nighttime. And I swear to you, it looked like a scene straight out of a scary movie. And I have never been so entirely terrified in my life. We like couldn't find any of the people that we were supposed to be driving with, and it was just absolutely horrifying experience. I thought I was for sure gonna die. And I remember the way we ended up getting back to the highway to get going back on the right path was that I just kept saying, like, we have to drive west. If we just keep going west, we're gonna find I-5. Like, it's gonna happen. Which eventually did happen. So thankfully I was not mentally challenged enough to figure out that we needed to drive west. But we were lost for like 3 or 4 hours. It was just really, really scary. I'm sorry we had to last that long, but yeah, that's probably the worst one I've ever experienced. And it was literally just because it was really scary and we were young, and that's...
Yeah, and it was like hella nighttime, right?
Yes, and I swear to you, like, we, like, stopped in this gravel road because the road was, like, just coming to a complete stop. It was no longer. So then we, like, slammed on the brakes, and then, like, the dirt rising from, like, the gravel on the ground, like, made this fog all around the car. And, like, I just remember, like, screaming in terror because I was like, oh, we're going to die. A serial killer is going to come out of the woods. It's going to come through the mist. We're not going to see it, and it's just going to slam into us. And well, it would have been good to, for like a vlog or something, like if YouTube had been a bigger thing back then, and you know I had the money to have a camcorder, that would have been a really fun vlog to have on the internet. It will be like
the Share Witch Project
for real.
Oh God, that's great.
If only I knew then what I know now.
Right. I don't know, like, we've never done, like, a road trip kind of a thing that's turned out horrible, but we went to, what was it, lunch every day at school. We would, like, leave campus, right, and go to restaurants and pick up food or whatever. So this rainy day, my friend was like, oh, I just got my Mustang fixed up. It's like a 1967 beautiful white Mustang, red leather interior. And he takes us to lunch, and on our way back, he decided to go around a corner a little bit faster than he should have. And he hit some gravel and fishtailed, and then instead of either, our options were to hit a car or hit a pole. And he hit a pole, which was just fantastic. And I'm really glad that I didn't go flying because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. In the back of the Mustangs, they don't have a third seatbelt, and I was sitting right in the center. I totally could have died. So that was really horrible and terrifying. Not really a road trip, but I guess as much as you can get one in high school.
I mean, you were on the road.
I was on the road, and it was a fucking trip. So.
Oh, that sounds terrifying. I mean, it's better that he picked the pole than another car, but that's still very,
Right?
very
I
scary.
mean, that was his logic was like, I think I'd rather hurt us than hurt us and other people, and it happened so quick that I don't know. It was just nuts. So that's my road
I
trip in horror story.
fishtailed like when I was 16, and it was the first time I had, obviously, but I had also never driven in the rain before, and my stepdad was in the car, and he was like yelling at me, and like I had just gotten my license like 2 days before that or something, and I was just
Hmm.
like terrified, and I ended up slamming into another car because I didn't know what to do.
It's terrifying, like driving in the rain and stuff like that. I mean, it's raining right now, and it's horrible. Like you can fishtail, and you can just a little bit of like hydroplane that
Hydroplane.
you get, and they're like, "Don't freak out, don't slam on your brakes." And of course, the first thing you do is freak out and like slam on your brakes. And then after, I'm like, "No, don't do that. I'm not supposed to do that." But I've already done it, so it doesn't really matter.
I've hydroplaned since then as like a late 20s adult, and it's you have to like see. And my daughter was in the car, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so scary. Never been so scared in my life.
Uh
Oh my
huh.
god. But you just have like I just remembered like breathing through it and being like, do not slam on the brakes, just
Right.
steer into it. And eventually I got out of it, and I pulled over to the side of the road, and I just started crying.
Mine's never been that long of a hydroplane. It's always like, oh, real quick, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm paying attention. I'm awake. I don't need my coffee anymore. I am here and alert and driving. Like, let's go. Amanda, you take road trips all the time, though. You must have a story.
The one that I remember is when I was in high school. My friends and I used to drive to the outlet mall or to Buffalo, which is like 2.5 hours away to go to the big mall out there. And we got in my friend's car, and about 45 minutes in, her car broke down on the highway, and we had to call a tow truck to come get us. So then it was three of us in a car. And the only way for us to get back was to either wait for her parents or all cram into this tow truck with this like old creepy guy. So we spent 45 minutes in the front of a tow truck with a really old guy, and I was sitting on my friend's lap because there was no
Ew.
seating.
You
But
were literally like his dream.
oh
You
god,
made that guy's dreams come true. Like,
he drove around extra just because.
Oops, sorry, I'm supposed to get off of that exit.
faster.
And we ended up getting my car and going anyway, but just the fact that we had to ride in the tow truck with this guy was just awful.
We had like the makings for a really
Right up
bad
there
road
with
trip
the.
last time we went to Disneyland. My friend stopped. I used to work about half an hour south of where I am now. So she left where we live and picked me up where I was working. And we go to get in her car and it's not starting. And I'm like, fuck. Well, this is gonna suck. So we finally get it started, and I'm like, can we just like go back and get my car or something? She's like, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So the whole time down there, every time that car did like a or like noise or shook or something like that, I'm like, we're gonna die. The car's gonna shut off. We're gonna be stuck on I-5. There's nothing here. What are we gonna do? But it was fine. It was a really shitty. It was fine.
I
The whole
think
time
the
around.
worst time I've had a car breakdown, I was driving from Seattle to Tempe, Arizona, and my car broke down in Battleground, Washington, which is this very itty bitty tiny town. If you know who Gold Glove is, him and his girlfriend live in Vancouver, Washington, which is a little bit south. It's like the big city that's north of Portland, but south of Seattle, like right on the edge. And Battleground is this small town that's right outside of there. And I kid you not, I had to walk because it was the holidays. Nothing was open. I was in the middle of nowhere. Of course, I didn't have AAA because I wasn't smart enough as an 18-year-old for that. And I walked for like so long. And I mean, it sucked because it was really cold outside and I was walking for so long. But this family stopped and they were like, do you need help? And I was like, yeah, my car broke down up there, and they gave me a ride to Vancouver, and I stayed at their house. And as it turns out, that's like where their vacation home was. They actually went to the same church that my family did, which is crazy because my family is Seventh Day Adventist, which is like this really weird religion. that I am not a part of, but they are.
They're pretty interesting.
They ended up going to the same church, so it was like crazy that they were the people who stopped and picked me up. Because really, an 18-year-old girl, you know, people stop and they're like, "Hey, do you need a ride?" You should probably be like, "Oh, I'm good.
I'm
good. You know, thank you. I don't want to get murdered." But you know, they ended up being really cool, and I stayed at their house, and you know, they had showers and all this stuff. I ended up staying there for like 4 or 5 days when my car got fixed.
That would have freaked me out more than getting lost in the middle of the night. Like some people, like going home with them and like.
I don't know. I felt like so like weirdly comfortable with it, and then I mean I found out while I was there because they had like pictures of people that I knew, and I was like, what? I'm like, why do you know these people? And they're like, oh, we don't actually live here. You know, we live up in Bothell, Washington, and we go to blah 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 Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I'm like. That's where I go. Like, what? And they're like, oh, we don't even notice you. And I'm like, that's because I don't believe these things, but I'm not going to tell you that. Go ahead and enjoy your hospitality.
Right.
But, yeah, I ended up being like really close with them for a long time. And like there was 2 girls that were my age. So yeah, it was really kind of cool. But no, the middle of the nowhere, not knowing where you're going with the gravel dust rising into the air was definitely a lot scarier.
My grandpa got us lost in Europe one time. So we went on like a family vacation, and my grandparents took my cousin and we drove from Rome. I don't know. We drove from like Florence to somewhere, and we get to Pisa, right? And we pull in. The day's been fine. It's like a 3-hour drive, and we pull into a parking lot, and he scrapes the side of another car. But like, you're in a foreign country, so you can't really do anything about it, right? Like he, at the end of this trip, fucked up this like van so hardcore. So we scraped the side of this van and we tried to leave a note, but it was in English, so I don't even know if they got it or whatever. And it was a rental. And then we go somewhere else and go through this under a bridge, and he scraped both of the windows. Not windows, mirrors. The side mirrors, he didn't like fold them in, and he like scraped both sides. And then I don't know, something else happened, like the window got cracked from something. I don't know. By the time we showed up to the rental place, it was just like this dilapidated piece of junk that we handed them, and we're like, sorry, because then we bought the insurance. I was like 14. I wasn't driving. It was my grandpa's fault.
That's so funny. Gosh.
Yeah. So. All right. Next question.
Yeah.
So Sean, another good friend of ours at Shaunosaurus Rex on Twitter, asked, what is your favorite game this year so far and why?
Hold on, I have props for this.
No.
Oh boy.
If you're listening and not watching, you might be missing out. This has got to be a hard one though, because I don't really play games as they come out.
Yeah, I'm playing Dragon Age still, so...
I'm still playing Unity and Persona.
My favorite game this year is Overwatch. And,
oh, dang.
Yeah, I can't find my PAX Pass. I don't know what I did with it. I've hung it somewhere, I guess. But I actually got, well, I played it at BlizzCon in November, and I played it for such a long time that, like, because I was in the press booth, that people were texting me, asking me what happened to me, like, they were concerned that I had disappeared because I was playing this game for so long. I just kept going back around in the line over and over again. I was like, I love this game. And then they're like, we really want to play Overwatch. And I'm like, oh, I'll come down from my hotel room and play it. I played it a couple of times. I guess really I'd been like sitting there for like 3.5 hours. And so I go back down and I play it again. And me and my friends, we go through the line like 4 different times. And so I've played this game like probably for like 6 hours in one day at BlizzCon, which BlizzCon is only 2 days, so that's just giving you an idea. And then I played it again at PAX, and it is so fun. It is so fun. And I wouldn't say that I really have liked FPS games recently at all. I really liked Halo when I was in high school, and I played like CS on the console for a bit, and there have been some FPS games that I played on the console, but on PC I'm like really bad at them. So like, well, I went into this one CS game and they kicked me out and they said they would rather have a bot on their team.
Mean.
I couldn't even figure out the controls to type to them to tell them that they were mean.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't know how to type, but you're mean. Mental
sad emoji.
thoughts at you. But yeah, Overwatch is really fun. It goes into beta in the fall, and you can bet your ass the second it comes out, I will be on that game.
So it's not even like a new game. It's like a pre-new game.
Yeah, it's in employee alpha right now, and
Nice.
so the only times that people have gotten to play it have been at events.
Mm.
And I'm just waiting. Give me my beta key.
That's great.
It's fun because I think the thing that I really like about it is it's kind of MOBA style in that it's a team game. And so there are like support roles, defense roles, tank roles, assassin roles, and I have really come to enjoy being a support in team games. So to be able to be a support in an FPS game is really, really fun.
Nice.
And I don't know. I got play of the game in one of the games I was in, which, I mean, you know, obviously I own at that game. So
Obviously.
So if you guys get a chance to check it out, you definitely should. You should definitely play the beta, and we can play together, and I'll support you as much as my one true.
Yeah, I honestly haven't played anything that I think has come out this year. I'm really terrible at that. I like hoard all my games from one year and I play them all like the next year or something. That's really terrible. I've been obsessed with Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity. It's Assassin's Creed. What can I say?
I was gonna say it's Assassin's Creed. Of course, you're obsessed with it.
It's not too. It's not as good as 2 at all. I mean, it's not that great. It's good, but it's not. Oh my God, it's Assassin's Creed.
Do you like Unity better than Black Flag?
No.
Oh.
No. I like Black Flag a lot.
I actually haven't played Unity yet. It's still in the plastic wrap in a drawer underneath my Xbox.
As was ours until about 2 weeks ago. We bought 2 copies of it, and so we put them in, and we're like, oh, we're going to play them together. And then the update took like 6 hours, and we had shit to do and sleep to sleep, and so we were just like, fuck it, we'll play later. And then G got obsessed again with Resogun, so he's been playing that, and I'm like, you know what? God damn it, I'm not waiting for you, I'm playing. So I'm like 20 hours in and like 20% done. Because I'm like, oh look, a box. Oh look, a side mission. Oh look, let me do this. And I think I'm on like sequence 5. So
That's amazing.
I'm a completionist.
I actually just recently played Liberty, the standalone one, the small
Liberation?
Liberation.
Liberation.
I really thoroughly enjoyed that, and I feel like I never really cared much about that time period in history or wanted to learn anything about it until I played that game.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly was just like, oh.
That's the one with Aveline, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I started playing that on the Vita, and I couldn't stand it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I might just need to give it a little more time. I just didn't like it, like the control-wise. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I played it on Steam, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if I could play that Liberation on my PS4 or PS3, that might be a little different story. But as of right now, I'm not the biggest fan.
Try it on PC.
PC. Okay, I will.
Just the storyline is really, really interesting. So that's I would say the biggest draw for me. Like, I mean, I get turned off by bad controls too, or like.
I didn't think Ari was here today since Miranda's not here. What's going on over there?
Apparently, I'll just kick something over.
Annoying like combat and stuff like that, but usually if a storyline can pull me in, I feel like I'll kind of.
You'll sacrifice good gameplay for good story.
The gaming part of it if the story is really.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like, a
I
good
guess.
story is a good story. I mean, regardless of what package it comes in.
Right. If it's not playable, that's a different story. But
Well,
like,
yeah.
you know, if it's like, oh, I don't really care for this. So sometimes I feel like I don't even notice if I don't particularly like the controls unless they're really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm having a big problem with controls in Unity too. It's just, if you had, they weren't the greatest controls in 2, but they're better than they are now. So it's like, how can you go down on the scale of good control? I don't get it. But Whatever.
Moving in the
I'm just like, go straight, and he's like, jump to the left. No. Whatever.
I didn't have that problem on PC at all. I wonder if I'll have that problem on the Xbox.
I don't know. But it's been ticking me up. Maybe it's just the way that I run. I don't know. But he's a big old pain in my ass and won't go the way that I want him to. And then all of a sudden there's like 50 guards surrounding me because I fucked up and I keep jumping from like one ledge to the next ledge right next to each other. And
you're like, hey, shoot me.
Yeah. And I don't like the fact that there's not any actual bombs yet. Like, because I used to, like, I could take a bomb and throw it and I'd knock out 2 guys or whatever, and they only have, like, smoke bombs, and they only have, I don't know, and the little crackly bomb that's supposed to get people's attention that you throw it and it crackles and they look, and then they're done. And I'm like, wasn't that supposed to make you go towards it so I can free the area? Whatever. But it's Assassin's Creed and I love it, so.
The storylines, just I don't know. Like I've never really been interested in history before I played Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Except for like Egypt and Rome.
Greek history and Roman history I always loved, but like
yeah, that's like all of that like math and science discoveries that they made that were destroyed during like 400 to 500 AD. Like I love learning about all that stuff, and everything that came before that I find that to be insanely interesting. But pretty much everything after that I'm like.
Right.
Well, except for after I play Assassin's Creed, then I suddenly become interested in whatever time period I was in.
Somebody's got to show off their car.
Okay, this
Look
road
at my penis. That's exactly what I heard.
People are like insane. I've woken up in the middle of the night from somebody like speeding down this road because that's how loud they were.
At least you don't have neighbors that are 10 feet away that are like, fuck you, stupid bitch, and that's like her yelling at him. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. When they get on their fight sprees, it's every 2 hours on the hour, I swear.
That sounds really awful. Why are they still together? I don't understand people.
Right? Why are you together?
I don't get it. Maybe it's because I haven't really been in any relationships that I don't quite understand it, but I'm like, yo, if it's not working, I just want to be happy. If I can just find somebody that I like really enjoy hanging out with, that I also am really attracted to, and just be
well, no, I tell G all the time that
like,
we should start just arguing over nothing, and we will. I'm like, I should just yell at you, I love you so much, you're such an amazing person. like nice fights, just to like let them see what it's like on the other side. You bought me roses? Are you a dumbass? That'd be funny. Amanda.
Yeah.
What are you playing? Or are you like me and playing your backlog like usual?
I'm playing my backlog. I think the only thing that came out this year that I'm playing is Evolve, and I suck at it. So yeah.
Do you like it though? You can be honest. I don't like Evolve, but a lot of my friends are playing it, and they seem really into it. I thought that the controls are really clunky, and I thought it didn't have a lot to offer, so I'm not playing it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of playing as Assault because I just want to run around and shoot things, but if I get stuck as another character, I don't have a clue what I'm doing, because I agree, I think the controls are really clunky, and there really doesn't feel like there's a point, I guess. Which, I mean, I'm kind of along the same boat.
Empty.
Yeah.
Just like Titanfall, but worse.
I'm along the same boat as you guys, though. If something has a story, I'll keep playing it, and I'm interested in that. So this, for me, is just kind of... I mean, I'm playing it with friends, so that's the only good part, I guess. Is
to me, like, that's why I kept playing World of Warcraft, is because I had friends playing it, you know? Like,
right.
Or that's why you go play Mario Kart or Mario Party or Smash Brothers. Like, I don't know. That game just feels too frustrating for me to, like, because I have friends that play it, and I have a friend who works at studio. I could get a really cheap copy, but she's always like, "Oh, come play." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so busy."
You spend too much time running around in circles. That's like my biggest thing with it is, yeah, you're chasing down the monster, but you're just running in circles. Especially if they don't know where they're going.
I was in the closed beta, and I played it several times, and I kept trying. I really tried, and then I would just be like, man, no. I don't understand why it was like the big thing at E3. I really don't.
Hmm.
I
I
just
agree.
am beginning to not trust people or
I
something.
don't know. It's another one of those games that I've never even seen a part of.
It was like massively hyped, and then it came out, and everybody's like, "We are not playing this game. It kind of blows." Like, well, why?
Personally, I wish they made another Left 4 Dead because at least like the characters are relatable and funny. And if I'm gonna run around chasing things, I'd rather have it be in my face and I'm doing it all the time and laughing because it's funny versus.
I don't know. I was gonna say something
I
and I
feel like
totally
like
had.
last time we talked, we all had this like gigantic backlog. Like, how far have you gotten through it?
Not that far.
Me either.
Oh, so I remember last
I
time
think a lot
you were
more
gonna come
games that I
on.
played out of my backlog.
I think so. So last time you came on, I remember you wanted to talk about Wolf Among Us, and like none of us have played it, so none of us wanted to talk about it.
Have you played it yet?
Yes! I was about to say, guess who played
Yay!
it? This girl. I really, really liked it. I was so excited to talk to you about it.
You know what game I was playing because I was playing that before we started the podcast last time. Before we started this time, I was playing Game of Thrones.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah.
See, I wait for all of them to come out on hard copy so that we buy them on the hard copy, and then, yeah. But I got it with my new pink Vita for my birthday and Christmas together.
For those of you not watching, I'm freaking out over Game of Thrones. So.
No spoilers.
Have you played it yet?
I've played the first episode. I haven't played the next one yet. And I know the third one is coming out this week.
Do you watch the TV shows or read the books?
Both.
Oh, see, I didn't watch. I've seen like episodes here and there because a lot of my friends like have parties and I would be there during the viewing or whatever.
Right.
And so I've seen a couple of them. I've never read any of the books, and most of the time I just didn't understand any of the references that were being said. But this game has made me understand the references, and so many people have died already that I really cared about, and I just started episode 3. Like,
okay, so
what?
question.
Just people stop dying.
That's not possible in Game of Thrones. The death does not stop.
Don't get attached to anybody.
They're gonna die, and I'm like, they're not gonna die. They're way too important. They died. They got stabbed.
No. If you think they're not going to, they will.
Fuck this game. And then I keep playing it anyway.
So if I'm watching the show, like, how does the video game correlate? Because I don't want to pass the show that I'm watching because I haven't gotten to season 4 yet. Is it like just one or what?
The video game is about different families, so I haven't gotten past the first episode, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but so far you see Marjorie Terrell and you see the other characters, you see characters that are in the show, but really it's about different. You see them, they're there, they appear, but it's about a different family. Like, it's developing stories for a different family. So
okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're further than I am. So.
I mean, I haven't really watched the TV show, so I don't know
this is
how
true.
it compares. But I will say that I have gone through where I'm at right now. There is a person who is at the North Wall that's a part of the House Black, right? That's House.
I don't know.
True? False?
I don't know.
No?
I have no idea.
Okay, well...
I still don't remember half the people's names.
I know that, the, like, Ironrath, I think, is a house, right? And they have Ironwood. The big thing.
I thought that was the thing with the Foresters.
House Forester, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, okay. Well, he called it like the House of Ironrath earlier. I was playing, whatever.
Right.
So there's that family, and I would say they are like the main focal point of the entire game. Even though it shows like all these different storylines, like most of them correlate back to the Forester family, and somehow they're trying to save their land and their family and their house and whatever. So I don't know what the main storyline of the show is. I don't know if there is one, but that's definitely the main storyline of the games, even though it goes out into other branches, at least right now, because they all might die. Who knows? Honestly.
I think you'd be safe to play it. At least the first episode. I'll play the second episode and the third and let you know. But I think you'd be safe to play it as to where you are in the show right now without ruining anything. Because it really is. You know, like about the wall, and you know about Joffrey and Marjorie and all that stuff. So it's not gonna be a surprise when that happens. So, but it really is about the other characters. So I think
Good
you'll
to
be
know.
And that's kind of the way that Telltale does things. They take a story or a genre, I guess, like for Wolf Among Us, and they just make a different story out of it. Like Walking Dead is not the same as the Walking Dead. It has like the same basic core, but the storyline that you follow is different.
Some of the characters come and go, but it's not. It's definitely not the same story.
Yeah, exactly. And then I haven't played Tales from the Borderlands yet. I have it. I need to play both of those episodes, which I probably will do later. Again, it's like, based off of those characters, but it's another story that you get to play through. So
Yeah.
It's cool stuff.
Yeah, I won't be playing any of those until they come out completely.
I really like the story game kind of style. I feel like it's nice because there's a couple of TV shows that I watch, but most of the shows like I used to watch, I stopped because it feels so time consuming, and I don't feel like I'm being like engaged. So most of the time when I'm watching something, I'll start spacing out, and then I feel the need to have to rewind because I'm like, wait, I just completely didn't watch anything that was going on right there, even though I'm interested in it. Like maybe I like have developed some sort of ADHD. Like, so I'll, like if I'm watching something on Hulu, I'll find myself like tabbing out, and I'm like, wait, I'm missing this entire TV show that I'm trying to watch. So like games like Life is Strange and the Telltale series games, like I really like those to break up to when I don't really feel like PvPing or playing something that's like super intense. Like it's nice to just be able to relax and enjoy a story that is more engaging than just watching a TV show.
So before we get too far, do you actually like Life is Strange? Okay, because I've heard horrible things.
Heard horrible things?
Yeah, like just people can't get into it as much because it's, I don't know, about high school kids. Like I played the little demo, and I didn't mind it, but I only played the demo. So I was tempted to buy the first episode and see how I liked it, but everyone was like, oh, I can't really get into it because it's about high school kids. And I'm like, we all went to high school? Like,
I was
we were
in
all
high
kids?
school once, and they didn't have like in my high school, there was not the problems that are in this high school at all. I don't know. I enjoy like watching things from all sorts of, time periods. The storyline is pretty interesting, and the role that you play in the storyline is really interesting and kind of different. There's like a new, the basis of it is that this girl, she rewinds time and she doesn't know why, but it's not like a simple thing where she can just rewind time and everything is fine. Like there are consequences for rewinding time physically for her as well. And I don't know, it's really interesting. And today I chose incorrectly and I caused something that's not rewindable, and it really truly affected me. Like I was upset.
You seem upset about it.
I was very upset about it, and I won't say what it is because you haven't played it yet, but I was in like only 40% of the people that have played it were unable to do the thing that would be better in that case, which when you get to it, if you play it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it was really upsetting, and that like just shows you that the writing is really good. And there's a lot of detail in the game that like you can go and check out a lot of different things in the did you play Gone Home?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Gone Home, there's a lot of things that you can't click on.
You didn't play Gone Home, Amanda.
I have it on my computer.
Greg Miller is frowning at you right now.
I know, he literally
He's
is like, can
rolling
feel
over and
his heart
calling
hurting.
upset, for sure.
I played it for like 10 minutes, and I know it's not a scary game, but I was home alone, and it was thundering and lightning outside, and it was dark, and I freaked out.
Oh my god, Amanda! I bought that game,
baby.
and I played it for 20 minutes, and I was like, I am finishing this game, and I finished it.
I'm like, I think it's an atmosphere thing for me. It was just like...
it's definitely creepy, but, I mean, if you want to not be scared, just know for sure, nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever.
It's just the
game,
feeling.
Period. Nothing is ever going to jump out. Never. Literally never. I can...
Like, honestly, like, nothing in that game happens
you
at
will
all.
see no human beings or monsters or anything. You will just hear dialogue.
Nothing dead.
I was bringing that up because there's a lot of stuff in there that looks like it should be interactive that isn't interactive. And that always really bothered me because I'm like, oh, I'll go click on this book. I'll go blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you can't. It's not like that in Life is Strange. Life is Strange, like, you can click on posters and look at them. You can look through CDs, look through a bookshelf, open drawers. Like, you can pretty much look in everything. And it feels like really inconsequential, but you learn about this really in-depth character development that the people who wrote this game have developed for these characters, and it just gives it this whole other depth. And I don't know why anyone can possibly say anything bad about this game because the attention to detail is just amazing, and the graphics are amazing. There's enough, like, gameplay that it's engaging, and it's, I don't know, I don't care that it's about high school kids. I think that the story is really interesting. And I feel like anybody who watches, like, I mean, there's plenty of movies that have been about high school kids, like Fault in Our Stars. Weren't those kids in high school?
Everything's about high school kids.
Insanely popular.
They're all played by young 20-year-olds, so.
Well, if Life is Strange was live action, you know, instead of animated, it would probably be like 30-year-olds playing 18-year-olds. You know? I don't know. I don't like people discounting stuff because, like, oh, it's in high school, I can't relate. Like, just
too many people our age watch WB. Like,
do you relate to Superman? I don't think so.
All right. Does anyone want to go a little further on this topic, or should we move on?
I'm okay.
Moving
I
on.
will say that I hope that more story games come out because
I agree.
when Shadows of Mordor came out, I was really excited, but at the same time, I still haven't finished it because it's overwhelmingly long. And I feel that way about a lot of AAA games that come out now. I'm like, man, I really want to play this game. Do I have 70 hours to commit to this game right now? No.
So that's something that I've always wanted to just say is I like a short game. I like a 5-hour long game.
$60 for a short game, though.
No, I'll pay $20 for a 5-hour long game. I'm fine with that. And if it's got, like, extra play value to it, like, I'll play it. But I don't like games that take up, like, 9 million hours of my freaking time. I don't have time for that, you know? I've got a full-time job. I've got other shit that I've got to do. I got these podcasts and garbage and, you know.
Nice, you were garbage.
Yeah, I know. Right? She is thrown out.
Thank you for the
Just
verbal
saying.
abuse.
You're welcome. All right, so we'll move on to the next question, brought to you by George Loftus from @FakeNerds on Twitter. He wants to know, were you ever one of those kids that went to the mall just to hang out at the mall?
Yep.
We didn't have a mall.
I didn't have any friends, so no one ever tried me to the mall.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the progression of that. Amanda's like, yep, and I'm like, we don't have a mall, and you're like, I didn't have friends.
No one liked me in school.
No, I didn't have friends either, so don't feel too bad about it.
Wow,
I
I
always
think
like-
you're really sad.
I wanted to be one of those kids that, like,
I
went
thought
to
you were
the
going to say I
mall
wanted
and
to have
hung out.
friends.
Kids, and I was like playing EverQuest alone in my basement.
No. Oh, God.
That's a true story. People call me ugly. People were so mean to me in school.
You are-
Yeah?
Horrible.
Oh my God.
I got teased all throughout elementary, junior high, and high school, and then all of a sudden, my last year of high school, when I had a boyfriend, all the boys that teased me were like, "Hey, you want to go out?" And I'm like, "Ah, middle finger, bitch."
Yeah, that didn't happen to me until Facebook. When
Until
I
Facebook.
suddenly got just like swarms of apologies for how mean. They're like, I didn't actually think you were ugly. I'm like, fuck you.
That too. Yeah. As soon as Facebook came out, I only made fun of you because I liked you. Yeah, well,
you.
you missed out. You should have taken your shot.
It's fine. You made me have a good personality.
Right?
I'm glad you were mean to me.
I might have been ugly with a good personality, but now I'm hot with a good personality, so.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, I wasn't ugly though. People were just mean for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was actually ugly. I don't really care, but.
Probably not.
Right?
And jerks. Freaking jerks.
Dumb boys. The malls.
The girls were mean to me too though.
Girls are the worst.
Girls. Yeah.
I was on dance team. It didn't matter. People just were mean. I tried to join everything, and no matter where I went, people were mean to me. I'm just like, what's wrong with me?
I wanted to join everything, but everyone was mean to me, so I didn't even give it like the second thought. I was like, well, nobody likes me, nobody wants me on their team, so I just won't try out.
I was an angsty theater kid, so it really didn't matter if anyone hated me.
With all those other angsty theater kids.
Yep.
I mean, I did theater, and even the angsty theater kids hated me. So
I wouldn't
like,
have.
collectively
Well, like,
as a group.
I was a loser, and all the other losers didn't like me, so I'm like, thanks. It's horrible. No, we don't have a mall, so we never hung out at the mall.
Where do you live that you don't have a mall?
In a small town. Our closest, like, legit mall is about 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay. I know people that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not living in a ghost town, but we're not living in a metropolis by any means. So, yeah. We used to go to this place called Rack 'em Up, and it had pool tables, and it had arcade games, and had really gross, skeezy, like, 40-year-olds that would hang out and drink beer there and, like, hit on 15-year-olds. So we stopped going.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No.
That was about it.
That sounds familiar for some reason.
Every town has a Rack 'em Up, I can guarantee it.
They probably have one in St. Louis. I probably went there.
Yeah. Some Amanda's popularity over here.
No, I wasn't even popular. I had like
Yeah, right.
friends.
Yeah, right.
No, I.
You were like the antithesis of popular. Like you were popular in the unpopular crowd, which
Okay.
is
Yeah. There you go.
Fine.
it's like it's where it's cool to be unpopular, which
Yeah.
actually makes you popular. It's just in a different clique. It's not like adored by faculty or whatever in a weird.
Hey, my teachers liked me, okay?
Well, my teachers didn't like me either.
No. Mine did. My teachers liked me, but the people didn't
To
like
be
me.
fair, it was my own fault that my teachers didn't like me because when I was in 5th grade, I got in trouble for doing too much homework, like going too far
What?
ahead.
But they didn't like you because of that.
Wow,
I
she's
got put in the
smart. Let's
principal's
stomp
office,
on
and
her.
I was like in space camp, mathletes. I was like super nerd child. Like just played the flute, I played the clarinet, I played the piano. Like I was just like on track to just like be an astronaut, you know, like this nerdy little kid that was just
I see you working for
going down the
NASA.
right path. 5th grade, I had this teacher who was obsessed with Shakespeare, and actually that's when I got into theater. Because he made us do like all the Shakespeare plays, and I was just obsessed with the attention and acting and the whole thing. I was obsessed with it, but I still loved math. And so one night I was really bored, so I did all of the math homework for the year and the next year over the weekend. And I brought it in, and I turned it in, and I got in trouble, and I got sent to the principal's office. And they were like, "You are not allowed to do this. This is not okay." So in my 5th grade mind, I was like thinking about my sister and my brother who were just like the opposite of me, like never did shit, like couldn't care less. And they were like getting offered like rewards for if they would get like, you know, do it 70%. Like if you get a C, we'll take you to a football game. And I'm just like here, like, you know, playing 3 instruments and in space camp and like never missed any question ever. Nobody gives a shit. And I'm just like, now I'm getting sent to the principal's office for doing too much homework. I'm not going to do homework anymore. I don't need to. I was just doing it for fun.
Right? I wouldn't do it either.
So then in 6th grade, I distinctly remember the first time I didn't turn homework in 6th grade, and everybody in my class just like stared at me like, oh my God, she didn't do her homework. And I was like, yeah, I didn't do my homework. I did the project, and then I got 100% on the test, and this was when they started grading on a curve because I was in middle school. And so I got over 100%.
Everyone hated you.
I got extra credit, and I got extra credit on the project too. I was like, huh, I definitely don't have to do homework because I don't need to because I understand the material already. And 2, I can get extra credit on the test because I get the highest score, and I get extra credit on the project, which I actually enjoy doing. So I just will do that. And all of my teachers were just like, does not apply herself. So much potential. Does not try. Never does homework. Never does homework. Never does homework. So disorganized. Never does homework. And I'm just like, I don't really care. I don't need to do it. Fuck all y'all. But yeah. So maybe that's why people didn't like me.
Because you told them to fuck themselves in 6th grade, probably.
I mean, I never said that to them, but
not to their face.
I just didn't care.
Wrote it on the bathroom wall.
I was like, no, I got in trouble for doing too much homework, so now I'm not going to do any ever again.
I don't know. I think I tried to like slide by without getting noticed ever at all because I was like, I was the only child and I didn't really have anybody growing up that I was like best friends with forever, and I was always by myself, so I didn't really care about being by myself at school, and it didn't really matter. So I kind of just was quiet and kept to myself and did exactly what I needed to do to pass. That was about it.
That's good though.
No, it wasn't, because I'd look at the syllabus and be like, okay, so she wants a 500-word page, paper, whatever. Okay, all I have to do is 500 words. And so I would literally count out 500 words, and as soon as I hit 500, I'm like, done. Bye. And they're like, B minus, because we can't fail you, and we're not giving you an A for that. So I was just lazy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing the bare minimum. If
Just
you
to slide by.
doing something, I don't know. Like, to me, if you don't care about doing something, there's no sense in going above and beyond because you don't care about it. You should put your time and energy and effort into things that you do care about.
Mm-hmm.
You should never repeat that to my child. Like, terrible example.
That's funny. All right. Do we want to move on?
Sure.
Next question. Dang, George, sending a lot of questions over here. So he has another question. He says, 80s, 90s, and 2000s music. Assign a gold, silver, and bronze medals based on the awesomeness and longevity. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming he wants us to pick which era had the best music.
80s music is definitely getting the bronze. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
80s music is on a very low. It's not my style. I don't
like
know.
80s.
I really love a lot of music that came out of the 90s. Like, I'm a huge Deftones
Oh, God,
fan.
yeah.
I like a lot of underground hip hop that came out of the 90s, like Nas and like Tupac and like all of them. There's just so much great like Tool is one of my favorite bands. Sublime is one of my favorite bands. There's so much music that I grew up with, like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, these are all bands that I really, really love. And then there's also a lot of hip hop that came out of the 90s. And I don't know if that's because I grew up on the West Coast or in Seattle or what, but like this kind of grunge hip hop blend, skater goodness, I guess, kind of just like. And then my dad was like really into surf, so like I was kind of into ska a little bit too. But yeah, so I would say like 90s is probably number one. But there's so much music now that I really love that I feel like it's very hard to like pick between like the 90s and the 2000s, because I kind of like my playlists are a mix of like music from now, early 2000s, and the 90s. Nothing
I kind of like skipped the 90s. My mom like was raised in the 80s and everything, and so I grew up with everything in the 80s because that's what she listened to and that's what she made me listen to. And in the 90s, I was like, you know, 1 through 9 because I was born in 1989. So it's like those were my super young years, and then the 2000s were my teenage years. So I'd probably have to give the thousands gold, the 80s silver, and then the 90s bronze. Personally.
I'm really curious as to what your favorite music from the 80s is.
From the 80s? Oh god. I can't even like I don't have like a list in front of me, so I couldn't
Okay,
even
if you
tell
pick
you.
one thing.
80s music. Let me go through my iPod. You guys chit chat for a
Alright.
minute. Let me find something.
I'm honestly just really curious of somebody who thinks that the 80s is number 2 in the last 3 decades or 4 decades. Jeez, what is happening?
Time, stop it. What is time?
I turned 30 in 2 weeks. It's terrifying. I'm so old.
Okay. So I just Googled the best 80s songs, and automatically I've listened to every single one, and I love most of them. Living on a Prayer, Sweet Dreams, I Love Rock and Roll, Don't You Forget About Me, Oh Sweet Child of Mine, Hungry Like the Wolf, Come on Eileen.
Okay, I like that song.
That's from the 80s?
Yeah. They're 80 songs, yeah.
Well, no, I know the rest of them are. I didn't know Come On Eileen was from the 80s. I thought that was from the 90s. But
82?
that's definitely not one of my favorite songs.
My mom used to tell me the story all the time about her sophomore talent show or whatever. She got up on stage and she danced to Come on Eileen, and she knows every like move that she made back then, and she could still do that song. So it is definitely 80s.
You know that I know that song because when I went to ASU, that was like our go-to party song for some reason. And
Party
so like
song?
it would all just be Come On Eileen. Like I have no idea why, but like that song would like come on our playlists or whatever on our mixed CDs, and we would all just like go nuts and just like dance and sing to that song. And so like so it just shocks me that it's from the 80s. Like I never even like bothered to look up anything about it, but I know all the words and have definite dance moves that I did to that
Right?
song.
Well, because the 80s is so just, I mean, the 2000s were awesome because those are my teenagehood, and that's what I kind of grew up and went to school dances with, and that's what I'm going to love, and that's what I have on my iPod now. And then the 80s is like, that's my basis for all music, is the 80s. That's just what my mom listened to.
My mom listened to like Blue Oyster Cult. That's pretty much all she listened to. My dad listened to like Creedence Clearwater Revival. So it was all like classic rock, like 70s, 60s. My dad loves the Beatles, and then my dad's favorite bands were like Alice in Chains, but not really their older stuff, like more of like the stuff that was like coming out of the 90s. And then my dad like loved Rage Against the Machine, and so like that's the kind of music that I grew up with, was like 50s, 60s, 70s, like classic rock, and then skip over the 80s pretty much entirely and go into the 90s.
My mom was super 80s. Like she loved Michael Jackson, and I don't even know the names of everybody because she just loved everyone from the 80s, and that's what I had. So like my dad was really big on Journey and Foreigner, and then I'm sorry, I'm from the country, so I love country. Like Garth Brooks was a staple of my childhood. So.
I like some country music. There's not really a lot of music that I really dislike.
Yeah, like I'll listen to anything. There's probably stuff that I'm just like, I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Amanda?
But I have very broad musical taste. Like usually people like they'll look at my Spotify are like, what? What? What are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel the rhythm in a lot of types of music. I have many wavelengths on which I operate.
Dude, I've got everything from like fucking like Elvis Presley to Metallica. So
that's good though. I'm not a huge fan of Metallica for some reason. I feel like my dad listened to them a lot, but I
think I have Enter the
Sandman,
to a lot of their
and
songs,
that's it. But I never that's never something that I pick to listen to.
Yeah. Amanda?
Which seems weird because it seems like it would be my tastes, but it's not. I'd say my favorite bands are Sublime, Tool, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Deftones, Rage Against the Machine. Probably, yeah. They're all old. Oops. I do like a lot of hip hop and rap though too, which I post a lot on Twitter.
I honestly don't really know. I guess if I had to rate them, 80s would be bronze, 90s would be silver, and thousands would be a gold because I don't know. I mean, I grew up. My mom listened to everything from like country music to Beatles to Bruce Springsteen. Like it didn't really matter. And
this is what my child is gonna say about me.
And then the only thing I honestly remember my dad ever listening to was Dave Matthews. So I just want to blow my brains out. But I don't know. I guess the fact that like the thousands is probably what stuck with me more because, like you said, it was like high school years and that kind of stuff. So, I guess.
Oh my god, you saying this is what your kid is gonna say about you totally reminded me of Clueless. And he was like, Travis, the stoner in front was like, so the way I feel about the Rolling Stones is the way my kids are gonna feel about Nine Inch Nails, right? So I really shouldn't torment my mom anymore.
Yeah, I went to a birthday party last Saturday. Yeah. And it was 90s themed. But it's funny because there was this girl there that was dressed as Cher. And she was like talking to me and she's like, you remind me of Alicia Silverstone. And I literally started just quoting the whole entire movie. And she was like,
yeah.
Oh my god, your lip even does that thing where it goes down on the side. And I'm like, yeah.
I love that movie. It's like it's my all-time favorite movie ever.
Is realizing like how much 90s style is coming back because I didn't know it was a themed party and I just thought it was like normal and they're like, "Oh my god, I love your outfit. It's so 90s." I'm like, "What?" And I'm like looking around. I'm like, "Oh my god." Oh my god, I'm stuck in my childhood.
I bought a skater skirt from Black Milk that's yellow tartan.
Oh, I have that one too.
Yep. Looks like Cher. Love it!
That's exactly why I bought it. I still, like, I want to find that exact outfit because I want to wear that for Halloween this year, but I cannot find, like, I have a yellow blazer that's just, like, plain yellow, so I'll probably just wear that, but,
White really t-shirt, yellow vest, yellow blazer.
Huh?
White shirt, yellow vest, yellow blazer.
I can't find a yellow tartan blazer, though, which is
yeah.
It has to be Cher inspired, and I really wanted, like, authenticity. Yeah. Can somebody just make me this outfit? Right. Just tailor it to my body. I'm important.
I love that movie. I would wear everything that she wore in there. It's so 90s. I love it. It's great.
90s is coming back.
I think we've been doing it for an hour. What do you say, girls?
Have we?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
We've covered nothing and everything. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up then, I guess. Amanda, where can we find you on the internet?
Pretty much anywhere at Wake Up Paramore. Twitter, PSN, Xbox, doesn't matter. And then I'm also the community manager for Pulp 365, so you can find me there. We have Pulp Nation, which is our Facebook group, so yay.
Cher, where can we find you?
I am at Cheryl Quinn on Twitter. I am now twitch.tv/Cherp, CHERP. I just started streaming today, and I'm very excited about it, so follow the stream. Where else? Oh, if you want to read any articles, I work for USA Today as a freelance journalist, gaming.usatoday.com. My most recent article is pinned to the top of my Twitter, so please check it out and share it. And that's me on the internet.
All right. And you can find me at HarleyQuinn103 on Twitter, Instagram, PSN. You can follow us at Lipstick Nerds on Twitter. We've got a Facebook page. You can email us questions, comments, letters, whatever, to lipsticknerdsmlg@gmail.com. This has been episode 22. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Cher, for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.